Welcome along to episode 832 of the Mill Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. Coming up on the show this week, we'll be joined by the artistic director of Ballet BC as we find out about their appearance this Friday and Saturday at the Grand Theatre in Wolverhampton. Girl band One Type let us know about their single Rise Up and the fact they're raising awareness of type 1 diabetes. We'll be having a chat with Sir Manjit Southey as we find out about the Wolverhampton City Rotary Club and their health screening programme, which is taking place this weekend. Also, on top of that, we find out about the Stafford Festival of Shakespeare as we chat with our Hamlet Benedict Shaw, the Horatio Alex Wadham, and director of Hamlet Richard Cheshire. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
Ballet British Columbia at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre on the 6th and 7th of June, and they'll be wowing audiences with an absolutely amazing show. To tell us more, their artistic director, Benedict.
Hi, good afternoon.
An amazing time on stage, but ballet as you probably have never seen it before, I think, in some cases.
Yeah, that's right. It's even if we are called Ballet BC, we are not a classical ballet company, but we present contemporary works. So it's based on classical ballet training, but our dancers are contemporary, modern dance.
Now, based in Vancouver and understandably in demand all around the world, it's amazing to see you at the Grand Theatre. And how does this tour come about?
The company has been actually in the UK back in 2018 with Dance Consortium, so doing kind of the same tour that we are doing now. And it was nominated for an Olivier Award at the time, and we've been talking since then about coming back, and then COVID happened, so it took a little bit longer than we had hoped for. But we are finally back. We had performances in London, Edinburgh, Newcastle, and we'll be with you.
They're obviously one of the few lucky places to get to see this on stage. And it is the two acts with each with their own standalone dance piece.
That's correct. Yeah, it's two different works. One by a Swedish choreographer, Johan Inger, and then the other one by Canadian choreographer, Crystal Pite.
So tell me a little bit about Frontier to begin with.
So Frontier was originally created in 2008 for a company called Netherlands Dance Theatre, where I was dancing previously, and she's been recreating the work for us last November. Gorgeous work with lighting by Tom Fisser and music by Owen Belton. The whole company is on stage. Movement Language blends ballet and contemporary dance with an emphasis on dynamic shifts and grounded articulation. Crystal is well known in the UK. She's presented her work many times at the Royal Ballet as well, and I think she's been working for the past many years actually with the idea of the unknown, the idea of what we don't know, along with the concept of dark matter and the personification of shadows. So it's a work that yes, but it's the world of the visible and the world of the invisible.
Well, that sounds amazing already. And after experiencing that, we get a short interval before moving on to Passing. Now, this is your legendary Swedish choreographer and collaborator, Johan Inger. And this, again, is going to inspire audiences and with a very much grown up theatre dance piece.
That's correct. Yeah, Johan has made this new creation for us in 22-23. And it talks about the complexities of human relationships, themes that range from intimate personal connections to broader societal interactions. It's inspired by a climate catastrophe that happened in one of the Canarian island a few years ago, where there was a volcanic eruption. And the work, I think, really highlights the versatility of the dancers. You'll see tap dancing on stage, you'll see singing, like strong group formations, like strong dancing as well. The music is from Eric Enochson, Moondog, and then a new original score by Amos Bental. So beautiful visually, much longer than Frontier. It's about 50 minutes. And we've been touring it across Europe already last season, and super excited to bringing the work now in the UK. So yeah, quite epic works. Like the two of them are really bombastic, I would say.
I think this is going to work your company really hard, and will be people from both in both parts of the show, or will they be performing in one and not the other? How does it work?
No, they actually both pieces have the entire company on stage. So it's 20 dancers and something special for Frontier. We are collaborating with dancers from the Rambert School in London. So we have four young emerging artists, aspiring professional dancers that are joining the entire tour with us. So kind of a professional development opportunity for them as well.
And it must be amazing being able to take this sort of show on the road and inspire the world of contemporary dance wherever you go.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, I hope it will leave an impact on these young dancers, and yeah, it will touch the audience as well.
And with the work that you do in your native Vancouver, yeah, it's are they missing you? Because I mean, they are missing out on having regular dance from this company over there now. So it must be interesting to see how that works from the home city.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we just premiered early May, so they've seen the company and three different works that we are than the works that we are touring now at home in Vancouver. But I also think that they hold a lot of pride for what the company is doing, and knowing now that we are in the UK performing in such amazing venues and cities across the country, there's really a sense of pride for having the home company like explore the world like that and share works that have been created on the other side of the world now shared with everyone else. So
And having seen trails and a few still images so far, I can tell you that I mean this does look absolutely amazing, visually stunning, and you're filling the space on the stage. And it must be interesting going to different venues and working in different spaces and seeing how you can bring each of them to life with the amazing movement that's here.
Yeah, that's right. We always have to adapt also depending on the venues. And now we have a studio day, but the dancers are working right now, just making sure that we adapt to the different size of the stage. And then, yeah, it's just part of what we do. We constantly have to readjust the work, readjust the lighting. We also change casts, so we have different casts performing the main roles in different cities. So it's a yeah, living organism that always needs to be like fine-tuned.
24 plus dancers on stage. You've got a full stage, an amazing repertoire, music that is going to sort of build and give power to these performances. But they don't need music to dance, do they? They can have quieter times and still really impress with the movement they create.
Absolutely, silence is music, and sometimes you don't need much music to support the dance. But of course, depending on the vision of the choreographers, music can also be a component that, I mean, it is definitely a component that inspires the works and also motivate the dancers to explore their artistry and to relate to the music differently with each performance. So, and the music for this show is really special. Like in the first part, in the first work from Crystal, you've got choir music at the beginning and at the end, and then you've got a soundscape at the center. And then for Johan, you have more like traditional music at the beginning, and then a whole like more electronic also soundscape for the end. So pretty diverse. And you've got silence as well in the second piece, and you've got tap dancing. So they even create music with their own bodies.
Oh, it will be an amazing show. It is the 6th and 7th of June. Grandtheatre.co.uk to get your tickets. 01902429212 is the box office number. You can, of course, see trails and some snapshots on the Grand socials. But where can we find out more about Ballet British Columbia?
On our website, balletbc.com.
So check out those details there. The show itself, as we've said, has 2 dance performances contained within its Frontier, which is a circa 28 minutes, followed by a 20-minute interval, and just shy of an hour for passing. And age guidance is 8+, as there are some adult themes in passing. And it will be an evening to remember and to be treated with awe and amazement as we see these amazing, talented dancers bring this to life on stage. The artistic director of Ballet British Columbia, Mady Walewski, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
Now, Wolverhampton City Rotary Club have a brand new health programme with a special event taking place in July. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Sir Manjeet Southey. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Jason. Yes, on behalf of the Wolverhampton City Rotary Club, we have a event at the 31 Waterloo Road. It's an office block, and it's a supported project by the Wolverhampton City Rotary Club with global diabetes. And the event is on diabetes, blood pressure, and prostate cancer is what we're doing.
So an opportunity to get screening done for those 3 conditions, and something that's obviously being done without cost to those people who are getting tested. But it is vitally important to get people's blood sugars monitored, also make sure that their blood pressure is in a good range, but also for those born male to make sure their prostates are not going to give them any grief as well.
That's right, yes. Prostate cancer in this day and age, unfortunately, is growing. I've just picked up an article this morning. Colon cancer in young age is also very big now. We need to look after our health. It's very, very important. Blood pressure and diabetes, again, is obviously a very big key area. It's areas that people need to address with respect. And the early the problem is acknowledged, the earlier the problem can be diagnosed with respect, and it can be maintained if needed for a long term, or if not, sometimes matters can get resolved at an early stage.
So it is important about early diagnosis, particularly if you're picking up something like prostate cancer, to know that it's there.
That's right, sir.
Diabetes, again, if you're becoming on the verge of becoming diabetic, you'll be able to tell that from a blood test too. And then also with checking people's blood pressure, that means that there could be early warning signs of a number of different conditions, including heart health problems, which could be detected. So with all of this, what sort of thing goes on? I take it there's phlebotomists taking blood samples?
The samples are done by professionals. There'll be a professional team for screening, and for the diabetes team, then there's a blood pressure team. So the professionals in place. Yes, the team is going to be there on site on the 7th of June. Serve the people of Wolverhampton and the surrounding areas. You don't have to be from Wolverhampton. You can come from any surrounding areas.
So Saturday the 7th of June is the date from 10 a.m. All you need to do, turn up. It is a walk-in drop-in centre. Make sure you spread it over the couple of hours that we're down there. There may be queues out the door at 10 o'clock, but maybe go turn up about 11 if that's the case. You've got screening for prostate cancer, so that's checking PSA levels. You've then got diabetes screening and also blood pressure checks, all being brought together by the Rotary Club in Wolverhampton City Club. And of course, you do all sorts of other amazing work with people, not only in our city, but across the globe too.
Yes, we just had a Dragon's Boat event for charities. And it was at the Himley Park. With respect, we support charities across the globe, actually. We carry out projects abroad. There are many fellow Rotarians of the Rotary Club, Wolverhampton City Rotary Club. And they cover out a lot of good operations projects of helping vulnerable people across the world. And if you want to address it as third world countries, with respect, it's phenomenal, the work that is done by the Rotary International. We're a 1.4 million membership profile across the globe, and all professionals. And yes, the members are there to serve the community. I'm very passionate at what they do, and it's an honour to work with people, and it's an honour to work with the WCR radio this afternoon as well. We're so delighted. On behalf of the club, I welcome the club. If you ever have time to attend our club at South Staff's golf course, and yes, we we're always looking for key new members as well to help us grow the serving the community and helping the vulnerable people that are requiring the facilities of support.
Where do you find out more about all the work that's been done by the Wolverhampton City Rotary Club?
The Wolverhampton City Rotary Club does have a website. It's rotaryclubwolverhampton.co.uk.
So simple as that, nip along, rotaryclubwolverhampton.co.uk. You can check out things like the pictures of the dragon boat racing, find out about Best Foot Forward and all the other events and hard work that's done throughout the year. Well,
that's fine,
Samanjit, Sothi, thank you for joining us. Keep up the good work, and I hope you get checked out to make sure you're well on that event on the 7th.
I will definitely get myself checked out as well, and I request you to be taking out some of your time and attend the event as well, please, sir.
I'll see if I can get down there. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jason. God bless you too, sir. Thank you.
Now, a girl band is rather unusually raising awareness of type 1 diabetes. The whole of the gang have all been diagnosed. They are Lola Bell, Ella, Olivia and Finley, and they are one type. Hello, gang.
Hi.
And also we have Karen Palmer, Head of Medical General Medicines of the UK Ireland at Sanofi. Good afternoon to you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. So, first of all, Karen, tell us a bit about the research you see here, because 91% of people with autoimmune type 1 diabetes believe it affects their mental health, as well as, of course, their physical concerns too, and the danger that goes alongside hypo and hyper attacks.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for raising the research that's gone on today, and is the reason why we're sat here, along with raising awareness with the girls around type 1 diabetes. 400,000 people in the UK, which is enough to fill Wembley Stadium 4 to 5 times over, live with the autoimmune condition type 1 diabetes. And it's still impacting in such a massive way those people, but not just the people living with the condition, the people around them as well. And today in this song, and the girls are doing an amazing job with their words, raising the awareness, making people aware about what type 1 diabetes is and what it means for them, and helping to reduce that stigma so that people will start to better understand type 1 diabetes.
Absolutely. Right. Okay, Lola Bell, let's start with you as we wrote down the group. So type 1 diabetes is often diagnosed a little bit late. When did you first find out you were suffering from the condition?
I found out when I was 7 years old, so I've had it for 6 years now.
It involves some lifestyle changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely a lot changed in my life when I found out. It was a big shock, big differences I had to make to my daily life.
Mm-hmm. And Ella, what actually happened for you to discover that you were type 1?
So I had a lot of symptoms. I was really thirsty. I got very thin. Going to the toilet a lot, and then I got diagnosed at the age of 8.
8 years where something was going on, but obviously then it transpires that you've got a diagnosis. And Olivia, I mean, when you got your diagnosis, did it actually change things up? Was it a relief to at least know what was happening?
So when I was 8, I had really bad tummy aches, and I was like, what's wrong with me? So we went to the doctors, and when we found out, I'd never really heard of the condition before, so I was really confused. But it was good to kind of get an answer of what was wrong.
And Finley, again, this is something which hits you quite hard, and suddenly you're faced with your teenage years being somewhat different to your peers.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed when I was 10. So that was 4 years ago now. And I recently just moved schools. I was previously at Danes Hill until year 8, and then now I've gone to Box Hill. And I went to Box Hill, and everybody there was so welcoming, like with my diabetes, because there are a few students there who already had diabetes, and at my old school I was the only diabetic kid, so it was a very nice environment to come into.
And Karen, it's about understanding the condition, everybody having an awareness, really, the same way as we would treat somebody well and be understanding if they had something like anaphylactic shock due to peanut allergies. This is a different condition, most definitely, but equally it's something that needs to be understood in schools, even though it may not be something that would cause an immediate reaction as such. But you need your mates to look out for you in case of any signs or symptoms that you haven't been able to catch up on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that awareness piece that's critical, going with high blood sugars or low blood sugars, and the girls can talk to this better than I can impact the way that they're behaving. It can start to show up in different ways. They can become hyperactive, or they can start to, show different behaviors, and just people being aware of them, the potential reasons behind it, and being able to help and accepting of what's going on around them, and is critical for people living with type 1 diabetes, but also for a wider community as well.
And obviously, you could appear to be drunk, even though that's obviously not the case. And certainly, it'd be unknown for a rock band to get together and start drinking. Oh, you're too young for that now. Okay, so that doesn't happen yet. But I mean, when you've come together and brought this band together with the work that's been done with Sanofi and Stagecoach, it must be really exciting for all four of you to be getting involved in all of this.
Very excited. It's been a great experience.
Okay, so who does what and takes what role in the band?
We're all like the lead singers, we all have our own part, and then in the chorus we all join together, so it's like we all get our singing moment.
I think that, yes, and it is about having your moment as well. And I think that's, again, it's part of highlighting the condition, but also highlighting that everybody should have their moment and that nothing should be holding them back. What sort of reactions have you had so far?
All positive ones. We've had such good feedback from everyone that's heard it.
But I mean, Karen, again, it's about getting that message across and sort of dealing with something which is just part of life for these girls.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's about getting that message across, and for me, what really stands out about all four of those amazing girls is the positivity that they have, and that's critical for people living with the condition to see actually, what you can go on and what you can achieve living with type 1 diabetes, and that's fantastic. We're super proud of them at Sanofi and obviously Stagecoach as well.
Right, girls. Okay, so you've got to plug the song now.
I'm Lola Bell.
I'm Ella. I'm Liv.
And I'm Finley.
And we're one type.
You can listen to our song Rise Up on all streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music and YouTube.
They are one type. Thanks to them and to Karen Palmer, Head of Medical General Medicines at the UK and Ireland at Sanofi. Thank you all.
Thank you.
When I first got the news, lots of questions at school. Thirsty, tired, getting thin, felt the fear creeping in. Came as such surprise. Didn't know take one from two, hard to know what to do. I felt bad for so long, did I do something wrong? It's not something I brought on. But slowly I learned I'm not on my own. Got the help that I need now, I'm in control. With friends I can balance the highs and lows. We rise up together. Rise up together. We rise up together. Rise up, we're in this together. We'll go hand in hand, and through every challenge, I know you'll understand. So many roles I have to play, I save my life every day. I'm my own nurse, but it's so cool. On a little the time, gotta know the signs. It can feel so strange, pump on my arm, I never change. I put in a daze, always try to stay in range, 'cause I'm here to stay. So slowly I learned I'm not on my own. Got the help that I need now, I'm in control. With friends I can balance the highs and lows.
Sometimes we fall before we rise. Imbalances, challenges, big and small in our lives. Some days are tough as we crawl towards the light, but we manage every day, stand tall in this fight. Break through the wall, reveal the other side. Acceptance it calls, now together we fly. One type superheroes, we're saving our lives. We don't just survive, we rise up, we thrive.
Below 4 is the floor, it can't stop me doing more. I have to take time out, but I have no doubts. I'll figure it out. There'll be good days and bad
Shakespeare Festival at the Stafford Gatehouse Theatre is once again bringing the Bard's work to life. Directing it is Richard Cheshire, who is with me now to tell us quite what it's going to be like bringing this to the stage between the 24th of June and the 5th of July. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Now, obviously, exciting times ahead, and when you've got a 3+ decade festival that you're at the helm of directing, obviously the pressure's on. Well, maybe it is now anyway.
I do feel it, but the moment I started working with this fantastic cast and delving into the text of Hamlet, and we've done a good 6 or 7 months preparation on this, it's like a dream come true to be working on this play. Because I hadn't read it for 25 years. Mm-hmm. I've seen it so many times in the theatre, but coming back to it, reading it in a fresh light, it made me think, this is such a fantastic story. It's about incest. It's about an adulterous king, an adulterous relationship between king and queen. It's about Hamlet meeting the ghost of his father and being asked to avenge his father for his father's death. And it's like, that's murder, that's regicide, that's to kill a king, fratricide, to kill a brother, a brother killing a brother, and his mother in this incestuous relationship. And it's like, it's just the most amazing story. And that's what we're concentrating on. We're telling a really exciting story that moves at a fast pace. I've cut the text down to 2 hours, 10 minutes. You're not sitting for 4 hours, 20, which, if it's played in its entirety, it is. And it really is a gripping tale. That's why it was so good to come back to it afresh, not having a lot of baggage with me about it.
Yeah, so it's almost you've picked it up, you've worked on where you need to be with it, you've brought it into modern times for its appearance, but the language stays the same, and you've still got all of life in there. I mean, you described the highlights, which make it in some way scandalous or remarkable, but actually you've got the unremarkable in there as well. I think that's one thing Shakespeare did so well. He wrote characters in there that people could identify with from their own lives, alongside seeing these bigger characters.
I think you're absolutely right, and you've hit the nail on the head. And I think people will feel for Hamlet, realise the predicament he's in, the situations that he's in, and be with him right through the play to get his revenge. And of course, what is great, as you've quite right said about Shakespeare, you meet some ordinary blokes. You meet the gravedigger with a last boy, the famous first skull scene, and these ordinary people with simple language say so much and remind us about questions that we ask ourselves day in and day out, at times of stress, when we're depressed, or when we're elated sometimes. All kinds of questions about why are we here, who are we, what is there an afterlife, what happens when we die, where do we go? All these questions which we've asked ourselves for centuries, haven't we, and come up with different answers, are in this play.
And I think as well, when you're directing too, I mean, you've got to take input from the rest of the team, the production team and everybody else as well, but how much do you see as your vision compared to Shakespeare's vision? I mean, and how did you blur the lines between the two?
Well, it's a fascinating, great question. So my starting point was when I was auditioning for Hamlet, and as soon as I auditioned Benedict, I thought he's got to play the role. And I asked him my way into the play with him, because obviously in those times people were very religious. They were, practicing Protestants in Elizabeth's time on the throne. I asked him, have you ever seen a ghost? No. If you were to meet a ghost and you get to know that ghost tells you was your father, and he tells you how he's died, and he asks you to revenge him, that changes your life view. Because you now know there is an afterlife, there are such things as ghosts, and this ghost tells you he comes from purgatory. So purgatory becomes very real for you, and you may be skeptical. You may be completely irreligious. You may think when we die, that's it, the end, we die. You can't do that in this play, because you've met somebody who's come from the grave that you saw buried, and he's conversed with you, and for a while he's taken hold of you, he's touched you, and you believe that you think this is a not the devil impersonating a spirit. You think this is a good man. You question it. That alters and changes your life view, and I think that was the contemporary way, and we got into the world of the play for a modern day audience.
So there's a path to the story, a story that's told with passion, understanding, and done in such a way as you're approaching the audience through modern looks to bring those Shakespearean words into their minds. And it's almost like you've got a Bible fish in your ear, translating for you, isn't it?
Exactly that. And the words, it's an actor's job to make sure some of these words are very difficult. That's why I've cut partly half the text, because I think the story... In those days, people went to hear a play, not to see a play. We go to see a play, and I think 2 hours is enough, to be honest, But we are... Those questions are being asked, and I think the actor's job makes the language very accessible. I've sat in rehearsals at the end of the first week thinking, although I know I'm watching Shakespeare and I know they're using Shakespeare's language, this feels like contemporary English, even though we're observing all the verse and the verse structures. Mm-hmm. And when I say I'm setting it contemporary, I want to assure people here, I'm not doing anything gimmicky. It's a cheap world, really, because happily in this world there are no mobile phones. So there's no kind of social media and things. But it's as if the play is happening here and now. It's in modern dress because I think the people are more accessible, more easily to identify for audiences today than Doublet and Hose or whatever. And I think the story has so much resonance to today. And there's a lot of, there are a couple of scenes in it where it's connected with Fortinbras, who wants to come back and take back from Denmark the lands that it lost by war. And there's some discussion about the futility of war in it, and dictators, kings taking over other people's territories. You can make.
It sounds familiar. Yeah, there's definitely familiarity.
Yeah, we won't go to who, but you can see. So that's the wonderful thing about many wonderful things about working on Shakespeare. You can see the modern day relevance. You can hear it. It's there.
Well, I know that you and the team are putting together, as ever, an amazing festival. If you want to get your tickets, I know you want to get your tickets. It is gatehousetheatre.co.uk. The box office is 01785 61 9080. We should have a great time in the run-up to it. You almost get to relax once the festival starts, don't you?
I do. Actually, I've got a ticket to Turkey 3 days after we've opened, and then I'm back to see the last few performances. So.
And then see how it evolves, because these things do.
Yes, that's the exciting thing.
Well, have an amazing time with Richard Cheshire. Thanks for having a chat.
Thank you.
The Shakespeare Festival is back at the Stafford Gatehouse. It runs from the 24th of June through to the 5th of July. This year it is Hamlet. Alex Wadham is part of the cast and is with me now. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I hope you're enjoying your throne, which we've thrown on for our interviewees.
I'm feeling shorter than usual. I'm having difficulty touching the floor with my feet.
Well, I feel quite tall up here, so that's quite good.
You're magnificent.
It's doing the job. So, tell us a bit about your role in the show.
So, I play the character of Horatio. Horatio is famed for being one of Hamlet's closest confidants, if not his best friend. Horatio is one of the first people that witnesses the appearance of the ghost, which is the very start of the show.
That's technically spoilers, isn't it?
It's a spoiler, but in a sense, it's a 500-year-old play. So if you're catching up with stuff like Hamlet's Ghost right now, then I'm sorry to have spoiled that.
You may not have been concentrating during GCSEs if that's the case.
That's it, exactly.
But one of the better known, better loved regular shows which gets covered in all sorts of things, but Stafford always puts its own spin on these things, doesn't it?
It definitely does, and the spin we're putting on this production of Hamlet is certainly inventive. It's really creative. If you've seen any of our social media posts, this isn't a spoiler, but we are transposing it to modern day, which is going to be really exciting for people to see. I think it adds a real sense of realism and threat to the world that Hamlet, the play, exists in. And I think it's going to be a really great touchstone for people coming to watch the show.
And I think as well, because Hamlet and the language of Shakespeare can be confusing. It requires amazing actors and storytelling sometimes to bring the words to life, to make it make sense for people. And again, this is something which the Gatehouse does every single festival.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, we're spending a lot of our rehearsal time dedicating to the meaning of the text to make sure we have a really clear understanding of what we're sort of, I don't think trying to say, but the thing about Shakespeare that's so amazing is, although the plays have been around for so many hundreds of years, there is still debate and conversation to be had about how and the why and the specifics, and how you're setting it really informs that. Who is playing the characters really informs that. And so, I mean, we're just having the best time, like making these choices and trying stuff out, and it's going to be something really exciting for people to come and watch, I think.
And the fact that you're Lichfield born and bred, and this is a festival which you'll have known about growing up as well.
That's it, definitely. I mean, it's something that when I was training to be an actor, Stafford Shakespeare was a pinnacle place to come and do work like this, and I feel absolutely privileged to come and be working here for the summer.
And what for you has really set this production on fire? Because they say we said that we have modern day, there's something different, but how is it really touching you? Because I mean, this isn't the first time you visited Shakespeare, is it?
Not the first time I visited Shakespeare, no, but the first time I visited Hamlet, actually, since training. What's exciting me about this production? Firstly, the amazing cast, like. Everyone in the read-through was bringing something to the individual characters that was really inventive, and putting this spin on it that when you've heard lines that have been spoken so many times before, and you're getting chills down your back, they're making you laugh just from the way people are delivering lines. That's always exciting. But also for me, I trained at Aberystwyth University before I went to drama school, and one of my tutors there and directors there was Richard Cheshire, who is the director of Hamlet, and I had the most amazing experience with him. A real gift of a rehearsal process. Every time we worked together, really working on research and textual analysis and getting to the real grips of it. And it's like the gift of time to really knuckle down and work on something like this. I mean, that is what's setting me on fire completely.
Well, it's going to be an amazing production. That's guaranteed. We know that. Scenery and setting all sort of will be built into place.
That's
Costumes
it.
as well.
How are
you enjoying that? Because fittings are the clue at this stage. Is it a look that you're going to enjoy?
It's a look I'm going to enjoy. I've seen some of the photos that Patrick, our designer, has created for the characters that we're playing. They're looking really exciting so far, and I think there's going to be some elements of this production that people are going to be really surprised by.
Oh, it's going to be an absolute treat. Gatehousetheatre.co.uk is where you can get your tickets. Give the box office a shout as well. But it is the Stafford amazing Shakespeare Festival. Runs from the 24th of June through to the 5th of July. Have a brilliant time of the show, break a leg, and just thrive in this amazing world of creativity.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to it. See you there.
Now, when Hamlet emerges on stage as part of the Stafford Shakespeare Festival, we've got the inimitable Benedict, who is going to be taking that role. He's with me now to tell me quite what he's got going on and how much he's enjoying it, because you are loving this experience, aren't you?
I am. Sorry, I have to take this off you because
you can hold the microphone.
No, I must. Well, I obviously hold quite a few things in the play as well, namely the score.
Yes.
This is probably the most challenging thing I've ever done, but at the same time the most exhilarating. I'm really, really being pushed into every kind of corner of his mind, every fluctuation, and the text and the cast and the director really encourage you to kind of go to the most brave moments. Push yourself beyond what you think you're capable of. So I'm living the dream, really.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to take the pseudo school back from you.
Take it from me.
But obviously it is immersive, isn't it, Shakespeare? I mean, you've got to live it and believe it. And I think particularly the time over which the stories have been known and told, you've had many actors in Hamlet's shoes. And I think, again, that's part of why you have to believe you are he.
It's a really good point. Probably one of my biggest fears when I accepted the job was being aware that it's an iconic role, and being aware of the incredible actors who played him in the past. And you kind of have to get to a point where you accept that you won't do a job like any of those people, because your interpretation will be your own true, resemblance of Hamlet himself. None of those previous performances that those actors did, that none of them are alike, because the thing about Hamlet is, as actors, interestingly, we spend our whole lives trying to play somebody else, convince ourselves that we're somebody else, convince the audience that we're in that person's shoes. But with Hamlet, he's spending the whole play trying to be himself. And so there's a bit of a paradox there, but also because the play deals with what it means to be alive, family, grief, secrets of the heart, they're all things that are prevalent to what we live and feel now. So if Shakespeare was writing about these things 400 years ago and they resonated, the key and the trick for us now is to make these themes prominent and make the audience feel them and sense them and taste them, and make them get completely immersed in our storytelling. And part of my job is to make it as sincere as possible. So you can be inspired by what people have done in the past, but actually it's about how I respond to the text. What does the text tell me, and what do I want to bring to the role?
But when you're working in TV roles and the likes of Emmerdale, you've got there a life you're bringing to the screen that, again, people believe in, and they're living a story alongside them. So, I mean, is this even more immersive than sort of taking on a role where you're walking down the street, people believe you are your character?
Yeah, I mean, I think the goal for any actor probably should be to tell the truth. The difficulty with this play, and what makes it such a challenge that most actors want to accept, is the fact that it is so multi-layered and multifaceted, and the only way that you can therefore do it justice and put it on stage and ask for an audience to come and see it is to find the truth in what you're saying. With this play, we're dealing with the supernatural. We're dealing with pretty big plot points, things that happen around Hamlet that are quite extreme and quite extraordinary, and to him quite cruel and disbelieving. So, I have to think very hard when I work on the script and work in rehearsals. What truth do I bring to that? How do I respond to those things that make sense? It's about finding a clarity, really, and a specificity. But you mentioned Emmerdale. I probably would have approached that role in a similar way, regardless of the content being completely different and working in a different medium. I would have approached the script and thought, why am I saying that line? Why do I feel that way? You can't kind of fluff these things. You've got to buy into it completely.
And Shakespeare was one for testing his actors, wasn't he? And I think that's again another part of it. You're being challenged every time you pick up a script.
Yes, I mean he does. Many people argue that and it's probably true. He does give you clues and tips, actually, because his verse form is written in such a way that he's actually kind of telling you where to breathe, where to end a thought, where to begin a thought. Does a new thought come quickly? So that's really useful in terms of dealing with particular parts of verse. And then he'll actually, in Hamlet, he writes in prose quite a lot, which would suggest that some of the thinking might be a bit more casual and maybe almost everyday to how humans think these days. But it is tricky, but I think that's probably why people want to do it, because there's such a richness in it. There's not really a naturalism. A lot of people these days, including myself, you'll watch TV and you'll kind of get used to the way that people talk these days, and the pauses and the sort of and what noises that we make in today's society, whereas it's so kind of particular. But the amazing thing about Shakespeare, when it's performed well, is that it can actually resonate with such immediacy to a modern day audience if you get true meaning out of the words.
Yeah, and acting an is much harder than in real life, and I think a convincing from an actor is always a sought after thing. And I think it's the way you're thinking as part of the part. Do you leave rehearsals now thinking in Shakespearean prose?
No. No, it might keep me up at night. I sometimes read my script just before I turn out the light to try and get it ingrained. Because there are words that are obviously quite archaic. There are some phrases that have double meanings, and you want the audience to be able to convey that, to understand that. Sorry, but no, thankfully I'm still talking normally.
Fingers crossed it stays that way.
Yeah.
And one probably less serious question is the stubble. It's featured on the side of the castle already. It's in all the posters. Are you buying yourself a 1990s stubble sort of maintenance kit to keep yourself going there?
Well, funny enough, if you'd asked me that question last week, you would have seen a beard. So at the moment, I'm playing with Hamlet's facial hair.
It's an important part of the job, though. Your face is going to do the acting, even when you're saying
yeah,
live.
it is. I mean, it's part of the expectation that people have. I haven't decided yet what he's going to look like in terms of stubble, but I'm glad it's going down well, according to yourself.
It's featuring. That's the thing. You can get your tickets from gatehousetheatre.co.uk or give the box office a call on 01785 619080. You can see Benedict and the rest of the team bringing Shakespeare to life. Have a brilliant time, break a leg, and just make sure the facial hair is spot on, just as the script will be.
Will do. Thank you.
That's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 833 next week. I hope to see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.